if you understand what I'm saying, but the way it's going now. And then the other issue is if the 23 counties get the infighting, that the governor throws all this away and just takes the state expenditure plan over itself.
Right.
That's a whole nother issue. If the 23 counties are not working together in a concerted effort, then all this could be for nothing, and the governor just takes it back over and says, well, we'll do what we think we need to do with this $300 million. So that's another scenario.
Because I mean, we're being led, not a false sense of security, that the counties, the consortium thinks it's their money. It's not their money, it's the state's money, and the governor's in charge of that money. And right now, he's saying, okay, consortium, well, I'll let you see what you're gonna come up with, but it's the state's money, and the consortium has no right to it unless the governor gives it to him.
And you all have to remember that you've got the governor appointees on this consortium also. And former Secretary of DEP Mike Soul sits on there, and he's a very good friend to Franklin County, has been in the past. But he is like-minded with myself, saying, you know, you all can do what you want to, but the governor's going to have the ultimate say-so. And I mean, he tells them this all the time. And so we'll just have to see, because I agree with Commissioner Parrish. I believe, you know, if we get to fighting within the own organization, that the governor's going to come in here. And we don't know what's going to happen with the legislature and Triumph and all that, because every year that legislation seems to change at that, you know, at that level. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I think it's a long time coming. My own personal opinion, being on the committee as long as I have, I think it's going to be a long time coming. And I wouldn't be counting them chickens in that basket right now.
Right.
Because I just think it's a long time coming.
I agree. Item number 2, inform the board that I represented Franklin County at the 4-County Economic Development Summit sponsored by Gulf County as part of this regional economic development study. And it was a you know, pass around of information there. There wasn't any decisions made. I learned that a firm has released the old Arizona chemical site, and that same firm is in negotiations to lease part of the old St. Joe Mill site. The company is in the wood industry and plans to export wood products, both lumber and chipped, out of St. Joe. However, at this time, the railroad south of Talogia is not active. The railroad company who was there and made a presentation said it would cost $8 to $10 million to put the last 40 miles of track back in operation. The company said it has the funds, but will not begin to make improvements until a firm agreement with a client who needs to use the rail has been reached. So they've got the money sitting there, but they want to make sure someone's going to use it and generate some revenue for them. Gulf County, so they're working on that. And Gulf County is continuing to work on its redredging port project. I mean, they need $60 million. I think they have 20 million, and they need a few more million. So, but they're working on that. Number 3, inform the board that it needs to send in my opinion, needs to send a representative to Panama City on October 25th to represent the county at the summit being held by Florida's Great Northwest as it works on its regional economic development plan for the Panhandle. There's a special workshop for leaders of Bay, Calhoun, Franklin, Gulf, Holmes, Jackson, Liberty County, and Washington counties that I think we need to attend if at all possible. I'll be out of town and unable to attend. The workshop is from noon to 2 p.m. It's at the Gulf Coast College site, so I would hope that somebody could go from behalf of the county.
Michael, can you go? I'll make a motion that we direct Michael Morone to go and represent the county, unless there's a commissioner that wants to go.
Have a motion, need a second?
Second.
Have a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we've done item number 4, and so unless there's any comments, commissioners, I'm going to go down there point.
Mr. Chairman, I did have a question.
Sir.
$10 million for the railroad line, is that the one that goes on the edge of our?
Yes, well, yes. I mean, there's no spur to the airport, but the A&R, the section of the line, and it's most of the bridges. I mean, the line, if someone driving down the road looks at the railroad line, they're going to see tracks there. But what they have not maintained, they said, was any of the bridges. There are a number of bridge crossings from Talogia, you know, all the way down to St. Joe. And so it's the bridge crossings, culverts, that kind of stuff that have to be rebuilt. But yes, it's the A&R line going from St. Joe to Talogia that goes by the airport, but not into the airport right now. Okay.
That all you have?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Kurt Blair, TDC.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You received the collections report that'll take us through July. As we've been noticing in the last 6 or 8 months, the monthly reports fluctuate dramatically. This one reflects about a 13% increase in revenues for this fiscal year. We won't know how the fiscal year turns out until we get the final report in for September, which will likely be the end of November, beginning of December. In any event, the reports demonstrate that we've got a solid season going on here. We're expecting that we'll have, at the end of the year, at least an 8% increase over last year. So that's a good, strong report. I would not think that we would see a 13 or 15% increase, but, you know, who can tell? It's summer was the busy season, so. Excuse me, we've had now 2 hurricanes in the last couple of months, and one that impacted the area directly and required some evacuations, and the other impacted other areas of the state, but resulted in an increase in visitors attempting to get out of the storm's path. In both cases, we used some specific weather protocols that we've been developing depending upon the situation. For instance, in Hurricane Hermine, we sought to provide guidance for visitors about the availability of services and appropriate hurricane preparation. And in the case of Matthew, we worked to identify additional lodging facilities for the increase in visitors that were expected. And we started working with the local cities and RV facilities to identify alternate parking and pump-out facilities for those vehicles that would be coming here to escape the storm. We're going to be working more with the visitor centers to get a variety of protocols put in place so that we'll begin surveying lodging facilities and making arrangements in the event that we see the kind of increase in visitors that are looking for other places to go than where the storms are hitting. So we'll be talking with you more about that as time goes on. We've been giving you regularly now the visitor centers, reports of visitors to the visitor center, and so far this year we've seen over 20,000 visitors in our visitor center so far this fiscal year. As we begin this fiscal year, we're putting the final touches on our promotion campaign, but we've identified again a approved series of getaways that we will be using for advertising. These are ways of getting people to participate by signing up for drawings to win getaways, and we are using them in coordination with the major brand elements that we've approved. This allows us not only to advertise the merits of coming to Franklin County to the markets that we want to encourage, but it also is a substantial contributor to the increase of our email database that we market to every month throughout the year. So these are very valuable techniques and at relatively limited expense for our marketing dollars. One area that we've not really explored to any great extent, but is an increasing vehicle for marketing to virtually everybody, is the mobile marketing market. Those are the people with the smartphones that that are using them for everything now, from making hotel and restaurant reservations to playing games and the like. We're going to move ahead on a couple of endeavors to begin doing that. We're right now looking at some advertising for Florida markets that we'll consider in the next month or so for the mobile phone market. And we're going to have 2 events. One is now believe me, commissioners, this is not a place that I'm very solid on, but one is a Pokemon event. And for those of you that have grandchildren, I'm sure you're beginning to hear, or you've heard all about that. Our Pokemon event is going to be on the Thursday before Seafood Festival, and it's largely going to be to attract people here to catch pokies or pokey things, whatever they do. It's very important. And what we've done is coordinated with the Seafood Festival. So they'll be in town and encouraged to come into town on Thursday. The Seafood Festival now is expanding their weekend to go beyond the Friday night and Saturday. They're gonna have rides on Thursday. So we've worked out an arrangement with John to have free tickets to some of the rides for the kids that come and whose families come, for this. And we'll have them run around doing the pokey events, and there'll be prizes and that sort of thing. We've requested to use the Armory just as our official stop so that we can get them all signed in and let them know where they need to go and all that sort of thing. The second event will be a geocache event. We've actually been doing geocaches in this county for several years, where these little containers are located around the county. And for those people that are into geocaching, they largely use their mobile phones for that, as do the Pokemon enthusiasts. So we've actually targeted an event. It'll be 2 weeks before Christmas on December 17th, and this will once again be promoted by way of mobile phones, and will be used to, they'll connect by their phones, and they'll go around and find these caches around the county, and then once again they will be eligible for winning prizes. As I say, this is not. I'm a little more familiar with geocaches than I am Pokemon, frankly, but both of these are. I want to thank Lois Voda because she's helping us put these together, and she's got a team of volunteers that are working on this, so we're looking forward to that. You have in your packet our adopted meeting schedule for this coming year, and then I'm anxious to tell you that we're beginning our 2016-17 promotions. This year will include a variety of campaign activities under the general theme of discover or rediscover the forgotten coast. And this year, we're going to be targeting specific brand markets and desired demographic populations, including Florida markets. You'll begin seeing the use of our mascot at local events as part of our themed advertising and some of our videos. And in addition, we'll be completing the first phase of a planning effort to include counties from here to Cedar Key to promote the historic and coastal communities of North Florida, which can be accessed by Highway 98. So we're beginning to institutionalize the concept of US 98 as a vehicle to get to, as a means of get to Old Florida attractions, and for us particularly the maritime and coastal communities. And that's my report. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
I have a couple of
Yes,
questions.
sir.
Where are we on the seafood memorial by the TDC in East Point?
Well, as I might have mentioned at one point, we had a survey done on the property over at East Point, and the edge boundaries were considerably narrower than we thought, which basically means that the tract of land that we had anticipated that could be used was not in the boundaries of our property. Excuse me. Prior to that, we hadn't had a survey. We were just looking at an aerial with some lines on it, and they didn't give us a true indication of what the boundaries of the property is. So that being said, we're going back to the drawing boards and identifying another parcel on the site, and we'll be working on that this year.
Okay. And a follow-up, Mr. Chairman. On the park benches, you were getting some bids.
Benches, yes. We have some proposals for benches. We talked about it at our last meeting. The board didn't take any specific action on it. If the commission would like us to do something with them, we're open for a
I thought our
request.
agreement was to keep on doing what we was doing with them.
Yes, well, we had talked about that. What I'd like to do, Commissioners, frankly, is bring you a proposal with some types of benches, and you all can decide where you'd like them. I think our board decided that it'd be best for the commission to decide where you wanted them placed, so. We've
Chairman,
got,
I think it's a great project that you started, and I see people using the benches.
Yeah, we gotta keep going to the east with some of them.
I'd like to see,
I think what our board would like you to do is ask for us to come up with some funds for it. I've looked, and we have some funds that we can put towards this. They discussed it, but weren't sure where they ought to be. So my suggestion's going to be that they allocate the funds, and then you all, if that's your desire, and then you
Can
all.
we get a motion to ask them to get the funds up and get going with it in a second?
so moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I got a motion second, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Where they located at now?
I got them right there in East Point, right, from, the little grocery store back to the, certified plumbing. Got four of them.
Four of them, I think.
Four of them there, then we gotta have a few to the east.
Is that the ones you got off of St. George
Yeah,
Island?
the concrete ones.
And we had a couple others donated, I think, too, and so when I started talking about the placement of those from the island, Kurt brought up the idea of maybe let's see if other commissioners want the benches and their places for it. I think it's a great idea.
I never have been asked, so that's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. I was just wondering if that, the benches, I know I heard discussion between Commissioner Watson and all, but I never have been asked to where this commissioner would like to have benches placed, and at the rate of $500 a piece or $800 a piece. You know, that's kind of high.
No, the last one we got was donated.
Yes, well, we did get a number of them, actually, all of them have been donated.
Yeah, it's one we worked with off the island, got
Yeah.
them painted up and got them put in East Point and you set them up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, at the meeting, at the last TDC meeting last week, the mayor of Carabel said that she had priced some benches for Carabel to see, you know, how much the price was. And she said the ones that she found that would be good for Carabel and all that was about $800 a piece.
Yeah, we can get
So
cheaper
if we-
benches than that.
Yeah, if we don't have but $5,000 that the TDC is gonna allocate to benches, it's gonna leave somebody out there in the cold.
Oh, you can get a lot cheaper benches than she got than she
Yeah.
got.
Mr. Chairman, in fact, I think in the plantation, they have, it's sort of heavy plastic sort of thing, that's like $250 a piece. In the motion, I'll say, bring us some alternatives.
Yes, you can get benches for $200. The $800 ones are the concrete ones that are very similar to has been placed out there now, but that's not necessary. I mean, you can get them a lot cheaper than that. And so what we can do is get you a list of them. You can decide what works for your area, and we'll pay for them to the extent that we've got funds to pay for them.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
I would like to see them sprayed up from one end of the counter to the other, not just in the middle. All the way across from one end to the other.
Mr. Chairman, I had one other question. On Zika, your compadres and other TDCs, has there been any impact on tourism because of the Zika scare?
We haven't yet seen, any. It's been largely identified as in a specific area in South Florida. But I will tell you that we are anticipating of course, we're getting into the winter months now, so the significance would be less right now, but we're anticipating a blowback on it, if you will. And so we're targeting audiences that we're beginning to target audiences that are not affected. Now, when I say not affected, anybody's, can be infected by the mosquito. We're looking at audiences for which there are not at least at the moment, anything identified as being, as a result of infection. So what that means for us is that we will be looking at senior populations out of childbearing age. I mean, those are people that are typically our audiences anyway. And so they will be less concerned about, the significance of it. We're increasing our marketing in Florida, which we believe is a solid move. We've always had a good turnout from people in Florida, and of course, if they're living here, they are exposed to it anyway, so it's not like it's something that we're, they're going to be attracted to that and not, and lessening some of our marketing in areas of people that would either be, subject to the ill effects of it or, that would be concerned about it. And we're obviously keeping up to date on the publications that Visit Florida puts out on, the latest.
Anybody have anything for Mr. Kirk? Thank you, Mr. Kirk.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess and come back.
That fungus stuff.
Board of County Commissioners are now back in session. I don't see Mr. George. Yes, sir. Come forward, please, sir.
Most of you know me, but for the record, my name is George Pruitt. I'm the chief of the East Point Fire Department, and today I'm representing the County United Firefighters Association in Mr. Jay's absence. Did everybody get a copy of this letter that FCUFA submitted?
Yes, sir. We got it on our iPad.
All right. As you know, I've been a medic, an EMT with East Point Fire Department for 20-plus years, and every couple of years we have to recertify to renew our state license. And we had the pleasure and the privilege this last recertification cycle 2 weeks ago of being instructed by Mr. Jared Wester, who's was or is an employee of the county EMS service. And in my 26 years of being a medic, this was one of, if not the best recertification. I feel like I learned more than I have in several years. And to have, this sort of a resource, resign and not be here is just, beyond words for me, because rarely do we get people of this caliber in the county that want to stay here and build things and do things and help our services. We're all volunteer here, so we don't have a lot of money. This class was provided free of charge to us. He saved my department over $800 in fees because we had several first responders and EMTs renewing. So, Jay sent me here with this letter, and to answer any questions, I don't know what questions I can answer. We just wanted to make our position known, and I don't know what can be done about this, but we clearly need to do something to try to retain people of this caliber that are want to be so involved in Franklin County and improve the situation here for us. So,
Well, Jared's not here this morning. I can see he's not here. I spoke with Jared on the phone. He told me some stuff that went on and stuff that he did. I'm not going to speak because he's not here.
right. And Commissioner, I don't want to, I don't know the politics or any of that ins and outs of finances and all of that. We just wanted to state our position and that we felt that, he was such a good resource. These guys are there. Every time we have a fire call, these guys are there. Every time we do mutual aid with another department, they're there. And, they're there till they'll ask us, do you still need to stay? They'll stay.
Have you sat down and talked with Jared?
I spoke with him briefly because this was in the process when we were in the middle of our recertification course. He did not mention it. He didn't want to spoil the mood of the course because it was going so well and was attended by so many fire departments. So I didn't know about it until the next day or the next following Monday or Tuesday, I believe it was. We did a mutual aid with St. George Island Fire Department, and I was told over there that he had resigned, and I'm like, how can this be? And the man was there with us in gear helping us fight this fire. What a resource.
I had a good long talk with Jared, and it's not all funds and all with that. There's a lot to it.
Yes,
with
sir.
him. And I'm not going to say what he said because he's not here to, to talk.
Yes, sir.
But there's more to it, with Jared.
Do we have a copy of his resignation?
I haven't seen it. He had to turn that into, to the hospital, I guess, to Mike Cooper. He turned it into him. I didn't
'Cause
know about it either till,
I just want to say that I didn't know anything about it until Thursday or Friday. And I have not had anything sent to me on this. And I can tell you, Jared Wester is above reproach in my book. He has brought this ambulance service up to par and beyond. Not saying anything about anybody previous, because I love them too.
Right.
But Jared eats, breathes, and sleeps the ambulance service, emergency medical services, just like all of our other.
And fire,
Yeah, and fire.
and
yeah.
fire service. I mean, he's, you know,
And we need something, some people like him, because all of our older firefighters are getting older, and now the new ones, and you know who I'm talking about.
Guilty.
Now, George, I'm not talking about you.
No,
I'm talking about, you look at my area, Alligator Point, Lanark Village. I mean, we've got an older fire departments there. And with the new regulations trying to come down the pike, they haven't came yet.
Right.
But they're trying to, and the county, you know, the Florida Association of Counties fight hard for the firefighters, you know, because that helps the counties. And I can tell you, I am concerned about Jared tendering his resignation.
well, me too. And you know, you talk about our fire departments are getting older. I mean, I'll be 60 next year. I'm still the lead man on the entry team. That's a problem. It's starting to be a problem, because this is a young man's game. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, recruitment and retention is just terrible when you're trying to tell volunteers they have to do 260 hours of time to be able to volunteer. You know, that's a lot of your life that you're giving up. So, anytime you see a resource like this, I just hate to see it go. We wanted to make our position known. And I'm going to sign this copy. I know Jay had signed the copies that you got. This copy had not been signed, and I'll sign this, Mr. Schuler, and give it to you. I'm assuming you're a notary, right?
I am not. I am deliberately not a notary.
Understand, sir. There you go. Thank you.
We have notaries in the house.
Right. Well, we got a lot of witnesses, so. Is there any more questions, commissioners?
anybody got any questions, Mr. George?
I thank you, and if
Thank
you
you.
need me, you've all got my number.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.